G'day guys, it's been a while since I've been able to do a somewhat in-depth review on a rifle due to my work commitments. So before we get into the review, I just want to be 100% open and honest with you. I was approached by Wedgetail Industries to do some evaluation testing on the MPR MOD2. So the rifle was supplied by Wedgetail with some ammunition as well. At the time of filming this, I had already handed the rifle back to Wedgetail, so it won't be my traditional format where I'm out in the bush, but throughout the video I will be cutting to video to show off my testing processes and also just some close-ups on the rifle. So let's get into it. We'll start off with some characteristics slash like what's been updated on the rifle. So the weight comes in at 3.3 kilos. I found this to be very comfortable weight, which is also enhanced if you're using a sling. Very good for walking around in the bush, no real issues with that. It's a slight change, but not a large change. The handguard has been updated. There are no longer 4 hex head screws on each side, on the middle and lower rear of the handguard. They've opted for like an Allen key style that secures at the bottom rear of the handguard. This is a welcome addition. The overall length is about 15 inches and the handguard incorporates the pump action slide. This time it's made out of a lightweight aluminium instead of a polymer. It's still very easy to grip. The bottom of the slide also still has a Picatinny rail, which you can use to mount accessories like a foregrip. The trigger is Wedgetail Industries' own design, which is a single stage trigger that comes in at around roughly 2.2 kilos for trigger pull. Now, I generally prefer a 2-stage trigger. However, this trigger impressed me. Like at no stage did it feel sloppy, gritty, or inconsistent. And for me, it was the right breaking point. So no real issues with that. Really good trigger, really impressed. The barrel is an Australian cold hammer forged, and they have opted for a lightweight barrel. I thought being a lightweight barrel that it would potentially affect accuracy. What I mean by this is you'd be getting like 1 MOA groups and 1.5 MOA groups. But again, I was pretty impressed, and I'll cover off on this a little bit more detail during the accuracy testing portion of this video. The barrel length is still 18 inches with a 1 in 10 twist, and the barrel was also fitted with Wedgetail's own Ninox muzzle brake. This is very similar to a birdcage style brake, but with one key difference. It has its own thread that allows the user to screw on one of Wedgetail's suppressors. Again, if you have the correct permit to operate one. Overall, the brake performed very similar to a birdcage brake, so like I didn't find any real difference. It was very similar to one of them, and the thread pitch is a 5/8 by 24. It's just your standard 30 cal pitch, and the rifle is also chambered in 308, as the same as the Gen 1 model. What's new? The lower now has a bolt release or a bolt catch. Last round holdover, as it's also known as. This is a very welcome feature as it allows you to get back onto target quickly during reloading. When I initially pulled the rifle out of the box, this was stiff and I had to put quite a bit of force to release the bolt. Once it was lubed up and I ran a few rounds through it, it loosened up and I didn't have any further issues. However, what I did find was that the ambidextrous mag release is very tight. I had to put quite a fair bit of force to remove the magazine, and I'm putting this just down to the fact that it was a test model that was used. Again, if you run into this issue, try giving it a good oil and then just run through some empty mag drills to potentially loosen it up. One of the key big changes in this model is the fact that it's a spring-assisted pump action. This is a game changer for any follow-up shots. So for any of you IPSC shooters, just watch this space because this might just give you the competitive edge that you need. The additional furniture that's also on the rifle, the stock is an MOE or a MO SLR carbine stock. Correction, not SLR, an SL carbine stock. And the pistol grip was another MOE K2 plus stock. I think that these two paired together work very well, but I'll caveat with this that it comes down to what you feel comfortable with. So chop and change as you see fit essentially. And just make sure that you adhere to your state's regulations, as not all states can have a collapsible stock. For field stripping of the rifle, I'll throw up a photo somewhere here or over here. of how you, or the location of the takedown screws, which is very similar to other AR type rifles. The tip I will give you though is throw in a rubber punch in your cleaning kit. Trust me, this will help you out heaps when conducting any cleaning out in the bush. All right, so we'll get on to some accuracy testing now. So the ammunition that was provided by Wedgetail was ADI's 7.62 F4 ball. It's a full metal jacket projectile. ADI stated that it was a 147 grain projectile on the internet, so I pulled the projectile just to double check as I was going to take this out to distance, and I just wanted to make sure that it was correct so that when I'm entering it into my Kestrel I didn't have any issues. Turns out it was 145.3, so I rounded it up to 145.5. So everybody is tracking as well. The Army uses this type of ammunition in the Mag 58, which is a light machine gun. So I was expecting around, as I said earlier, about 1 MOA to 1.5 MOA groups for 5-round groups. I was able to achieve sub MOA accuracy if we discount the fly that I have. To be honest, this blew me away. I definitely didn't think that I was going to get this type of accuracy. I also ran the MPR through a chronograph as well, and I was averaging about 2,655 feet per second. And the range that I conducted this accuracy test was at 100 meters. The scope also used is a Vortex Razor Gen 3 1:10. So I know everyone's going to ask me this question is, what states is it approved in? What I can tell you is that it's pending approval in WA, New South Wales, Tas and ACT. The price point for this as well is coming in around 3,500. So the nitty gritty or the guts of this is my overall opinion on what I thought of the rifle itself. Look, I had a great time out testing this. I was running it pretty much into the ground. That was my plan, to see where it would fail, and at no point did it fail. Essentially, I got it as hot as I possibly could, and yes, you're going to get some deviation when that happens in your rounds when you're hitting targets, but it was still able to hit targets, it was still able to perform, there was no failure to feed, there was none of that crap. Overall, this is a great package. I'm really happy with where this is at, and to be honest, this is going to be a game changer in that sense. I was able to also go out and test it out at range, so we were, my initial testing was about 100 meters with those steel targets, as you see throughout these clips, and then we brought it all the way back to 500 meters. I didn't go any further than 500 just because of the 1:10 scope that I had. I wasn't able to really see very well because it didn't have a parallax adjustment, and I know there's some people out there going, I can hit a K with iron sights, so I don't really give a crap. I think 500 is a practical range to be able to test this out, and I was hitting targets fine with that. Overall, I think this is a really good package. I know a lot of you are going to be like, Nick's a bit of a fanboy for the AR style platform, and that is correct. I am a bit of a fanboy for the AR style platform, and that's just because the simple fact that you can modify your equipment or modify the rifle to you so that it's more comfortable for the user, in the sense that I can change my trigger, I can change my pistol grip, and I can change my stock as well. And I know that out there is Victor Precision is now making 2-stage triggers, which I've done a video on previously on how to install one of those. Instead of having to wait for those import fees or not even get the trigger into the country because they think that it's going into a Cat D firearm, stuff is slowly changing. I honestly think that this rifle is going to also be great in 3-gun. We can finally get that up and running properly because we now have these lever release shotguns. And this is going to be the perfect combo for that. It's also going to be the perfect firearm for pig hunting, out for those farmers that can't get Cat D, or for the average hunter that wants to go out and chase pigs. You'll be able to get multiple pigs with this at ease. This is going to be a bit of a game changer, and I'm really looking forward to seeing this do well out in the market. I'm just going to summarize the video with my dislikes and my likes. Essentially, I only had 2 dislikes, which was the fact that the ambidextrous safety catch was just that little bit stiff, making my reload times just that little bit longer. Not a massive gripe. I believe that's just, like I said earlier, it's just a prototype issue. My other issue was the fact that I didn't have the rifle for a long period of time. What I mean by this is I had the opportunity to have it for longer, however I just had some work commitments come up. Again, essentially what I mean is that I was having a really good time and I would have liked to have had just that little bit more time with the rifle. Overall, I'm really looking forward to seeing this hit the market because I reckon it's going to be a high performer. Please like and subscribe and share this video around just so that we can get some exposure so people can see that this bit of kit's coming out. And also just a small segue is if there's anybody else or any other firearm companies that would like me to do some evaluation testing, please send me a message on Instagram and we'll go from there. Thank you.